Your attention, please. We'd like to have everyone please back off of the guardrail, please. Like to have you at least 4 or 5 feet back off of the guardrail. Also, your attention, please.
Guardrail, so please step back from the guardrail on the front straightaway. Fifth group of hot laps, bring them up. Fifth group of hot laps, the 3 of Jeff Robinson, the 1C of Geisler, 55 Ty Long, F1 Scott Figler, Steve. Gentlemen, bring them up for your qualifications. Bring them up for your qualifications.
Moran, the first time that I can remember Moran being this close to the front, and I mean he is in the front of the bus this afternoon. He is the #1 car out.
Of course, one guy looking forward to next week, returning back out to Eldora Speedway, Freddie Smith, who picked up the $100,000 payday out at Eldora in the Dream. So he's looking back to get out to Eldora for the
90s. But we're set. It's another year, ladies and gentlemen. The Stars late models on the Speedway. And I tell you what, life's a highway for these guys, and they want to ride it all night long. And they are out on the Speedway to put this show on here for this running of the Hillbilly 100. Ladies and gentlemen, first man on the Speedway to qualify this afternoon. He's out of Dresden, Ohio, driving car number 99. This is Donnie Moran. Moran, a former dirt track world champion, a former winner of this race, also a former winner of the World 100, one of the top ones in that Malkin-powered rocket chassis out of Dresden, Ohio. First lap time for Moran, 2:1782, 2:1782. excuse me, 7.62, 21.762, the time to beat track record holder, Charlie Swartz, with a time of 20.038. 20.038 is the track record that Moran is shooting for. Second lap time, 21.753. 21.753. Out of the speedway now, car number 56F, out of Ravenswood, West Virginia. This is Sonny Fisher. Sonny Fisher aboard the black 56F. Sonny, a regular over at the Mountaineer Raceway Park in Ripley, West Virginia. .524. Out in car number 34. This will be Jeff Wood. Jeff Wood in the Wood Chevrolet Cadillac sponsored 34 automobile. Jeff Wood, ladies and gentlemen, on the speedway. .450. 22. Out in car number 16, out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, Junior Simmons. Junior Simmons, out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, in car number 16. Junior, a regular here in the Mid-Ohio Valley. In car number 16, the Cherokee Auto Sales, sponsored 16 car of Junior Simmons. .23012. 23012. Here comes Simmons now. .23514. 23514 for Junior Simmons.
Attention in the stands, a red Cavalier, license plate WV, license plate DLC 618. Your car is parked on top of a campfire. You may want to move it. A 90 or 91 red Cavalier, West Virginia license plate DLC 618. Your car is parked on top of a campfire. You need to move it.
The car number T8 out of Dillonville, Ohio. This is Mark Bunnell. Mark Bunnell out of Dillonville, Ohio. 22.439. 22.439 for Mark Bunnell, that Malkut-powered car out of Dillonville, Ohio. Mark setting that car into 3 and 4, looking for a quick time here on his second run. 22.251. 22.251. Out in car number 84, the Phil Lucon-owned automobile out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The driver hailing out of the University City of Morgantown, West Virginia. This is Steve Baker. Steve Baker out of Morgantown, West Virginia, promoter of I-79 Speedway and also owner of the Rocket Chassis. First lap time for Steve Baker, 2:1782. 2:1782. That will move Steve Baker into the second fast time. Right now, Donnie Moran sitting in that number 1 spot in the 99 car. .21716. 21.716. Second lap time for Steve Baker in car 84. Out in the 7+7 out of Jacobsburg, Ohio, driving the Masterbuilt chassis automobile. This is Chuck Maloney. Charlie Maloney out of Jacobsburg, Ohio, in the white 7+7. 21.770, 21770 first lap time for Charlie. Charlie, a regular over at the Midway Speedway over at Cooksville, Ohio, and also at the R&R Speedway just right around Zanesville, Ohio on a weekly basis. 21.631, 21631, second time for Charlie Maloney. Out now in the JK Farms B1. They call this gentleman Blackjack. Gratian, Kentucky, this is Jack Boggs. Jack Boggs in card number B4, a three-time winner of this race in 85, 86, and 87 in card number B4. Jack Boggs, 21.223, 21.223. Fast time right there. Jack Boggs setting fast time here early this afternoon. (21.265), 21.265. That will be the mark right now set by Jack Boggs. 21.223. Out in the 00 automobile, this is Chuck Efall in the 00 automobile. Big Prairie, Ohio's Chuck Efall on the track. 23.460, 2 now in car number 75, driving the Parkway Foods drain-powered automobile. Ladies and gentlemen, Harrisonburg, North Carolina, this is the lightning rod himself, Rodney Combs. Rodney Combs, Harrisonburg, North Carolina, on the speedway. 2:07.93, good time. 2:07.93 for early in the event. Rodney Combs, pretty good time here early. 2:07.93. 2:10.11, 21.011, second time for Combs. So Combs, the first car in the 22nd bracket, 20.793. Hey, we talked about back in the 60s. Well, this gentleman was here back in the late 60s. Car number 75, legendary Butch Hartman, ladies and gentlemen, out of Zanesville, Ohio. Hartman, and that familiar number 75 that he has carried through decades. 21.513, 21.513 for Butch Hartman in the Hartman's Truck Center 75 automobile. Hartman building his own power plants, him and Bart's, both of their motors out of their home operation in Zanesville, Ohio. 21.518, 21.518. Retner, Pennsylvania, the 7W of Bob Waring Jr. Bob Waring Jr., another one of the Ford power plants on the field today. Waring with Ford power under the hood of that 17W. 21.930, 21930.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a red Cavalier, West Virginia license plate, DLC 618, a red Cavalier. Your car is on top of a campfire and on fire.
22.041, 22.041, second time for Bob Waring Jr. This gentleman here now second in stars points going into today's event. Coming off of a big win last night at Interstate 79 Speedway, ladies and gentlemen, York, Pennsylvania, driving the Eckert Trucking, this is Rick Eckert. 21.232, first lap time for the Pennsylvania driver Rick Eckert. Eckert with a Jules power plant under the hood of that car. .034, second time for Rick Eckert. Second generation driver. His dad toured this speedway back in the early 60s. Out of Pennsboro, West Virginia, just about 2 miles from the racetrack. He grew up right here. This is Frank Wilson Jr. Driving the Lou Hubbard-owned car out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. Frank Wilson Jr. on the clock. 22.392, two sponsored number 100. Down the track, Fitzgerald, the young driver, first year behind the wheel of a late model automobile, been running up at the Hagerstown Speedway on a weekly basis. 21.813, Fitzgerald out of Lexington, Virginia. Lexington, Virginia calling home for C.S. Fitzgerald. Second lap time, 21.538. .22.724 for Floyd Klein, first lap. The 42 car, the Bob Cowan-owned car, the car based out of Perrysburg, Ohio, the driver out of Duke Center, Pennsylvania. This is Todd Andrews. Todd Andrews in car number 42. Another Ford-powered automobile on the speedway. This is Ford power under the hood of Todd Andrews' automobile. The Ford power supplied by Robert Yates. Robert Yates, the engine builder under the hood of this car of NASCAR fame. Robert Yates supplying the power to the Bob Cowan-owned automobile. .21.918, definitely. In the A55 out of Racine, Ohio, they call him the Bandit, Bob Adams Jr. Bob Adams in the A55. Adams a regular over at Skyline Speedway on Friday night. Many-time track champion over at that facility. 21.910 for Bob. Out now the 66V out of Russellville, Arkansas. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Johnny Bird. Johnny Burden out of Russellville, Arkansas in the GRT Racing chassis. Prestigious auto sales car on the speedway. 21.717 for Johnny Burden out of Arkansas. This is the team car to Bill Fries. This is the 66V. If you're scoring it, 66V of Johnny Verdon. 22.009 for the GRT racing chassis car of Johnny Verdon. Saxonburg, Pennsylvania, aboard the buy here, pay here. Number 4, the Ed Ferree Racing Team, the driver, Ed Ferree. Ed Ferree in car number 4 out of Saxonburg, Pennsylvania on the speedway. 21.346, 21.346 for Ed Ferree. Ferree running the dirt circuit in 1994, also a limited Busch schedule in the Winston Cup events. 21.298, 2-1, Larry Moore. Larry Moore, a brand new team in 1994. And this team based out of Knoxville, Tennessee. The Warrior chassis under the helm of Larry Moore. 21.703, 21.703 first lap time for the Hillbilly 100 winner. Also the Dirt Track World Champion, World 100 winner. Larry Moore has done it all. The 30-year veteran out of Dayton, Ohio. 21.575, 2 is John the Racing Mason on the speedway in car number 72. Mason aboard a brand new rocket chassis with a small block Malket under the hood of that car. Mason, also a former Dirt Track World Championship. He has never added this race onto his belt, and he would like to do it here this afternoon. (21.756), 21.756. John Mason looking a little bit quicker this time around. Let's see if he can get down in the 20s. He won't do it with that one. 21.594, 21.594. Well, Mr. Pennsboro now out on the speedway now. Car number 00. Ladies and gentlemen, driving the Golf Valve Service GRT Racing Chassis out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, this is Freddie Smith. Your fast qualifier, Freddie Smith, 20.699. 20.699. Your fast qualifier, Freddie Smith. Second time, 20689, 20689. So Freddie Smith will stand on that time, 20689. Out of Navarre, Ohio, car number 19, this is Alan Baker. Alan Baker in the 19 Thrifty Muffler sponsored car of Alan Baker. 22.057, 22057. (21.817), 21.817 second lap time for Alan Baker. Milwaukee, Wisconsin now, out on the speedway in car number 37J, Jim Gernick in the air cargo freight 37 car. 23.153, 23. Parkersburg, West Virginia, driving the Poskies Route 47 carryout CJ Rayburn automobile. This is Steve Shaver. Steve Shaver out of Parkersburg, West Virginia in the red and white number 30. Pretty good time for Steve Shaver, 2:08:33. 2:08:33. That will put him third fastest Steve Shaver right now. .004, 21004. The man on the bubble right now is Ed Ferree. Ed Ferree, the man out of the top 6. Eddie Ferree, the man on the bubble, as on the speedway now out of Wooster, Ohio, in the only Mopar-powered automobile here this afternoon. Car number 75, driving the Gross Lumber-sponsored automobile. This is Don Gross. Don Gross in car 75. .297, 22.297. .325, 22.325 second lap time for Don Gross. Now the gentleman who's currently 6th in points going into today's race. Car number 11 out of Zanesville, Ohio, the younger Hartman. This is Bart Hartman in car number 11. Hartman's been very quick all year long, but just having a little bit of problems finishing. Maybe he can turn it around here this afternoon. Hartman, a talented young chauffeur out of Zanesville, Ohio. 21.127, 21127 for Bart Hartman. Hartman right now sitting in a pretty good spot. Let's see if he can better that time. Yes, 20.937. Good time for Bart Hartman. That will move him into the 4th spot. 20937 Bart Hartman. That will knock Ed Ferree out and put Jack Boggs. Jack Boggs, the man on the bubble now. 4-time Hillbilly 100 winner. He was the man to beat in the 70s, but he is back in the decade of the 90s. Car number 1, Calgary, Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Waring. 21.564, 21.564 for the drive-through beverage sponsored number 1 car of Bob Waring. 21.755, 21755, second lap time for Bob Waring. The top contender for Rookie of the Year on the Star Circuit for 1994. Car number 49, ladies and gentlemen, driving a Bullet Racing chassis. He is out of Russell, Pennsylvania. This is Brian Ruhlman. Brian Ruhlman in car number 49T. 22.242, 22.242. 21.096. 21.096. Pretty good time for Roman. That'll put him, matter of fact, into the 6th spot. 6th fastest qualifier. Brian Roman, with that time, will knock Jack Boggs now out of the top 6. The 71D now out of Warren, Pennsylvania. This is Ron Davies. Ron Davies out of Warren, Pennsylvania. 21.082. 21.082. Right now, it's Freddie Smith up front. Rodney Combs is 2nd. Steve Shaver is 3rd. Bart Hartman is 4th. 5th is Rick Eckert. And 6th is Brian Roman. But hey, we'll change that all around real quick. 20.869. 20.869. That will move Ron Davies into the top. Matter of fact, 4th. Ron Davies, your 4th fastest qualifier with that time. Track now starting to pick up just a little bit. Now be the time. 21.618. 21.618. The driver of car number 07. Brent Rebergen out of Claymore, New York in car number 07R. .952. 21952. Lap time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's always one of the guys that qualify real well here at Pennsboro Speedway in a brand new race car here this afternoon with a brand new Dream small block Chevrolet. This is the Lost Creek Express himself, ladies and gentlemen, Denny Chamberlain. Not a good time, 22.003. Put him into the top 10. Out now the 24F. He is out of Cross Junction, Virginia, driving the Ray Vest excavating car, team car number 2. This is Rodney Franklin. .21046. 21.046 for Franklin. .21047. 21047. And I tell you what, we're ready to go, Mike. You've got one of the guys that run with you each and every Saturday night up at the Buckeye Speedway on the track.
Thank you, Pete. This is Jim Gentry, track champion up at Buckeye Speedway in the M&J Enterprises number 14. Jimmy Gentry in the number 14. .264. 21.264. First lap. Robert Lucas from Wheeling, West Virginia, out on the track now in the 1L. Right now on the track in the D&J Racing sponsored number 2 out of St. Albans, West Virginia. This is Don White. Don White in the blue and yellow number 2. First First lap time, 21.937. 20 in the number 2. On the track now out of Tyler Mountain, West Virginia, this is Steve Lucas in the 5L. The 5L is Steve Lucas. .162 on the clock now in that blue and black number 17 out of Danville, West Virginia. This is Shannon Webb. Shannon Webb out of Danville, West Virginia in the number 17. .885. Out of St. Clairsville, this is the number 33 of Bob Moskey. Bob Moskey in the 33. .158. In the Rocket Chassis, number 68 out of Weston, West Virginia, this is Tim Hitt. Tim Hitt in the number 68. He could be one of the sleepers in today's racing. See what happens in qualifications for him. Looking for a good time. 20.401. 20.401. How good a time? Fast qualifier right there. Tim Hitt, your fast qualifier with this first lap. Second lap time even quicker, 21.178. 20.178 second lap time. That's his fastest time. Fast qualifier for the 68 of Tim Hitt. Out of Morgantown, West Virginia in the B5. Shooting down the back straightaway, this is Dave Groves. Dave Groves in the B5 out of Morgantown, West Virginia. .357. 21. From Cambridge, Ohio in the 12D. The yellow and white 12D, this is Doug Dodd. Doug Dodd out of Cambridge in the 12D. .216. 21. In the Ray Vest number 1 team car, the 24V out of Hagerstown, Maryland. This is Nathan Derberow. Nathan Derberow currently 4th in the Stars point standings. He's looking to get into the quick 6. 20.415. 20.415. That is second fastest for Nathan Derberow. Coming out of 4, trying for a little bit quicker time, going for that number 1 spot. 20.349. 20.349. That keeps him as second quick. Nathan Derberow, the 24, second fastest. In the Kaufman Corvette sponsored number 2C out of Claremont, Florida. This is Clint Kaufman. Clint Kaufman out of Claremont, Florida in the Kaufman Corvette sponsored number 2. .320. In the Rogers Cadillac sponsored number 19T out of Knoxville, Tennessee. This is Jeff Treese. Jeff Treese in the 19T. .324, 21.324 for the Medic Alert M1 out of Strasburg. This is Brad Malcutt. Brad Malcutt in the M1 from Strasburg, Ohio. .21.241, first lap time on Brad Malcutt in the M1. Got the old Malcutt engine in the M1, looking for a quicker time here on the second lap. 20.924, 20.924, second lap time on Brad Malcutt in the M1. That puts him at 7th fastest, just out of the quick 6. Out of Bedford, Pennsylvania, Bob Salathy. Bob Salathy in the RG3 out of Bedford, Pennsylvania. Having trouble coming out of 4. 22.704, 22.704 first lap time for Salathy in the RG3. Second lap time on Salathy, 20.877, 20.877 second lap time on the RG3. In the Keller Machine Specialties, sponsored number 0 out of Newark, Ohio. He's a veteran of many, many racetracks. This is Jack Walker. Jack Walker in the 0. .22.882, first lap time for Jack Walker as he slides high over in turn 2 on his second qualifying run. .22.647, second lap time on Jack Walker in the number 0. Out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania in the number 3, this is Jeff Robinson. Jeff Robinson in the number 3. .579, 22.579 first lap time on Jeff Robinson. .612, second lap time on the Mason-Dixon sponsored number 3 of Jeff Robinson. In the number 1 Cochran Automotive sponsored number 1 out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, this is Lynn Geisler. Lynn Geisler in the number 1. Lynn looking to make it into the quick 6. 20.953, 20.953. Need to to be a little bit quicker. Didn't quite make the top 6 on that attempt. 21.075, 21.075. So Lynn Geisler falls short of making it into the quick 6. In the Point Restaurant sponsored number 55 from Cambridge, Ohio, this is Ty Long. Ty Long from Cambridge in the number 55. .090 for the Stars by Arizona Racing Series. This is the number 15 out of Ashland, Kentucky. This is Steve Francis. Steve Francis out of Ashland, Kentucky. .443, first lap time on Steve Francis. Third fastest lap of the day. Steve Francis looking to improve it. 20.596 doesn't improve it on that lap, but he's still nailing down that third fastest spot so far today. Steve Francis in the number 15. Currently 12th in the points, the 32S out of Ravensburg, West Virginia. This is Scott Hartley. Scott Hartley in the 32S. And Scott having trouble negotiating turn 4 as he spins it out. So with that spin out, Hartley with only one qualifying attempt left. .387, 23. The number 30, the 82, excuse me, number 82 of Andy Freeze out of Mercerburg, Pennsylvania. First lap time, 21.866, 21.866. First lap time on the 82 of Andy Freeze. .503. Out of Rockbridge, Bass, Virginia, in the familiar 00, this is Booper Bear. Booper Bear in the 00, looking to break the top 6 here. See if he can do it. 20.816, 20.816. That made him 6th fastest. He does make it into the quick 6, looking to prove on that. 20.518, 20.518, the second lap time on the 00 of Booper Bear, and that moves him into the 4th fastest slot. So it's Tim Hitt, your fast qualifier, Nathan Durborough 2nd, Steve Francis 3rd, Booper Bear is 4th, Freddie Smith 5th fastest. Right now on the bubble is Rodney Combs. 21.848, 21.848. First lap time on the number 5 of Ashland, Ohio's Ryan Markham. The GDI sponsored number 5 out of Ashland, Ohio. Ryan Markham, a young driver, picking up 2 feature wins in one weekend, his first 2 ever at Lakeville and Mansfield Raceway Park. Second lap time, 21.739, 21.739. Second lap time on Ryan Markham in the 5M. In the Dream Engine sponsored number E1 out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, this is Mike Balzano. Mike Balzano in the E1 out of Parkersburg, West Virginia on the clock. And we'll see if he can make it into the quick 6 or not. 21.111, 21.111, not quick enough for the quick 6. .883, 20.883. Second lap time on Mike Balzano out of Parkersburg, West Virginia in the E1. In the Steve McCullough owned and sponsored number 1 out of Beckley, West Virginia, the number 1. This is Chargin' Charlie Swartz. Charlie Swartz in the number 1. 20.924, 20.924. First lap time on Charlie Swartz, a veteran of all kinds of race cars, including sprints, but most familiar in a late model. 21.002, 21.002. Second lap time on the number 1 of Chargin', Charlie Swartz. Out of Charleston, West Virginia, in the number 65, this is Doug Hall. Doug Hall in the number 65 out of Charleston, West Virginia. First lap time, 20.915, 20.915. First lap time on Doug Hall. The man still on the bubble is Rodney Combs. He has the 6 fastest, and he is on the bubble for the 6 quick. 21.686, 21.686. Second lap time on the 65 of Doug Hall. In the Don's Body Shop sponsored number 1C out of Wellston, Ohio, this is Don Clark. Don Clark out of Wellston, Ohio in the number 1C. 22.758, 22.758. First lap time on Don Clark in that 1C. .132, second lap time on Don Clark out of Wellston, Ohio in the 1C. Out of Greenbrier, Arkansas, long way from home, in the number 66, this is Bill Fry, and looked like he was heading down the far road as he spins it around down in turn 4. Even with the spin, a time of 27.267, 27.267 with the spin on the number 66 of Bill Fry for his first lap. Making it through turns 3 and 4 in a little bit better shape. Second lap time, 20.467, 20.467. That moves him into the quick sixth. Fourth place, as a matter of fact, knocking Rodney Combs out of the fast six and puts Freddie Smith on the bubble. Freddie Smith now on the bubble. Another one of the part-time drivers, but a very good one, out of Bellevue, Ohio, in the 1F. This is Jimmy Fleming, in the 1F. 22.974, 20 in the 07. The Alexanders sponsored 07. This is Mike Reed in the 07, out of Shingle House, Pennsylvania. .411, 20 on the 07 of Mike Reed. In the Magnum-sponsored number 18, he's got one feature win on the Stars circuit in 1994. A few more outside the organization, but this is the number 18 out of Mooresburg, Tennessee, the Bloomer, Scott Bloomquist. First lap time on the Bloomer, 20.317, 20.317. That makes him second fastest, looking to improve. See if he can come through 3 and 4 a little bit quicker. Second fastest, looking to move up to the number 1 fast time. Can't do it. 21.119 second lap time on the Bloomer. 21.119 second lap time on Scott Bloomquist, but his first attempt makes him second quick. That will put Booper Bear in the 00 on the bubble now. The 00 Booper Bear is your 6th fastest and on the bubble. Right now in the number 59 out of Caldwell, this is Dub Barnhouse in the number 59. As he's having trouble through 3 and 4. Car not set up quite smooth enough to slice and dice through 3 and 4. First lap time, 24.894, 24.894. First lap time on the 59 at Dub Barnhouse in the number 59. In the number 44, he has 2 feature wins in the Star Series in 1994, one at Hagerstown and one at Pittsburgh Motor Speedway. This is Westminster's, Maryland's Gary Stuhler in the number 44. .140, first lap time on the Bullet chassis number 44 of Gary Stuhler. .725, 28th fastest for Gary Stuhler. Out of Allison Park, Pennsylvania in the number 34. This is Bob Burgess in the number 34. Bob taking it easy through 3 and 4. Still with a good time. 20.981, 20 Pennsylvania. A little bit of a downer year for this guy. He's only got one feature win in 1994 on the Stars circuit. Out of Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania, the 1 star of Chubb Franks. Chubb Franks in the number 1 star. 20.497, 20.497 first lap time on Chubb. 20.420, 20.420 on Chubb Frank on his second attempt, and that moves him into the quick 6. Makes him 4th fastest, as a matter of fact, 4th fastest. And that now puts Bill Fry on the bubble. And out on the track now, currently your points leader in the Stars by Arizona Racing Series. Out of North Alexander, Pennsylvania, the 1J of Davy Johnson. Davy Johnson in the 1J. 20.708. 20.708. Davy Johnson with 9 feature wins on the Stars Series so far in 1994, looking to increase that total today here at the Hillbilly 100. .578, 20.578, the second lap time on the number 1J of Davy Johnson. Coming all the way in from Iowa, West Burlington, Iowa, the number 99. This is Johnny Johnson. Johnny Johnson in the number 99 out of Iowa. .21.280, first lap time on the J&J Steel sponsored number 99 of Iowa's Johnny Johnson. Second lap time on Johnson, 20.970, 20.970. Second lap time on the number 99 of Johnny Johnson. On the track now, the number 2 out of Imperial, Pennsylvania. This is Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson in the number 2. .154, ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up your qualifying for the Stars late models, as in just a few moments the Pro Stocks will roll out for some hot laps. But your fastest 6 for the Hillbilly 100, your fast qualifier today in the number 68, Tim Hitt with a time of 20.178. Second fastest, the number 18 of Scott Bloomquist. Third fastest, Nathan Devereaux in the 24. Your 4th quick qualifier, Chubb Franks in the 1 star. 5th fastest, Steve Francis in the number 15. And your 6th quick man of today, the number 66 of Bill Fry. So that's your quick 6 for the Stars Hillbilly 100 today at the legendary Pennsboro Speedway. 00 of Booper Bear. Alongside him will be the number 30 of Steve Schaefer. The second row of the first heat, Brad Malcutt in the M1 and Bob Burgess in the number 34. The third row will consist of the 49 of Brian Ruhlman and the 5L of Steve Lucas. Then it's the 17 of Shannon Webb and the 100 of C.S. Fitzgerald. The 07R of Brent Raybergen and the 5M of Ryan Markham. Then it's the number 2 of Don White, the 13 of Floyd Klein, the 0 of Jack Walker, and the F1 of Scott Figler. That's your... Well, thank you, everyone, and on behalf of the staff and management of Pennsboro Speedway, welcome to the Labor Day weekend and the 26th running of the Hillbilly 100 here at Pennsboro Speedway. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for some hot times with some good heat races as the first one's lined up. Once again, the lineup for your first heat on the pole, the 00 out of Rockbridge base, Virginia, Booper Bear. The number 30 is Steve Schaefer from Parkersburg. Alongside him, in the second row, it's the M1 of Brad Malcutt out of Stroudsburg, Ohio. Then it's the 34 of Bob Burgess from Allison Park, Pennsylvania. Third row consisting of Brian Ruhlman out of Russell, Pennsylvania in the 49. Then it's Tyler Mountain, West Virginia's number 5L of Steve Lucas. Next row back, Shannon Webb in the number 17 out of Danville, West Virginia. Then it's C.S. Fitzgerald from Lexington, Virginia in the number 100. Then it's Brent Raybergen out of Clymer, New York in the 07R. Following them is Ashland, Ohio's number 5M, Ryan Markham. Then it's the 2 of Don White of St. Albans, West Virginia. Behind them, the number 13 of Floyd Klein of Home, Pennsylvania. The 0 of Jack Walker from Newark. And on the tail, the F1 of Scott Figler of Dover, Pennsylvania. Racing Gasoline's Hillbilly 100 here at the legendary Pennsboro Speedway.
Well, should be a very interesting 12-lap event. Booper Bear and, of course, Steve Shaver sitting on the front row. Of course, the engine builder out of Stroudsburg, Ohio, Brad Malcutt in the Medic Alert car. Second year for this team. They're picking up a few wins up at the Pittsburgh Motor Speedway. He's aboard that Medic Alert car. Bobby Burgess in car number 34 out of Allison Park on the outside. We might have a green flag this time. Yes, we will. Mike, here they come down the back straightaway into 3 and 4.
Top 3 finishers will transfer into the feature, so top 3 spots need to be, and we're underway. First heat, as it's Steve Schaefer jumping into the lead as he takes him into turn 1 and 2 for the first time. Booper Bear running in that second spot. Now it's Brad Malcutt in the M1, trying to hold off the number 5L Steve Lucas for that third spot as they come around for the end of lap number 1. It's still Schaefer, Bear, Malcutt. As Brian Ruhlman in the 49 on the move. He's up into that 5th spot. Right now, Steve Lucas holding down 4th. Bob Burgess in the number 34, getting off to a bad start as he drops back to about 6th. Steve Schaefer in that number 30 starting to stretch his lead out a little bit ahead of Booper Bear in the 00. Meanwhile, Malcutt in the M1 solid in 3rd. Brian Ruhlman in the 49 taking over that 4th spot from Steve Lucas. Then it's Burgess, the 17 of Webb. Markham in the 5. Fitzgerald in the 100. Raybergen in the 07C. Now Booper Bear starting to close in on the 30th Steve Schaefer. Meanwhile, the 49 of Brian Ruhlman trying to do the same on Malcutt. Malcutt slipping a little bit over in turn 2 and allows Ruhlman in the 49 to close in. Halfway point, 6 laps down, 6 more to go. Meanwhile, Ruhlman has Lucas all over him as they battle for that 4th spot. Once again, top 3 is where you need to be in the heat races at the finish. The 00 Bear able to close in the corners, but Shaver looks like a little bit more power on the straightaways. 13 of Floyd Klein heading into the infield here on the front straightaway. Still a good battle back there in that 4th spot. Steve Lucas and the 49 of Ruhlman battling it out. As this time Lucas able to get around Ruhlman for that 4th spot, dropping Ruhlman back to 5th. Meanwhile, Booper in the 00, working on that rear end of the number 30. Steve Schaefer trying to find a way around. Can't quite do it as they go down the back straightaway. Once again, Schaefer looking to have the little bit better horsepower on the straightaways. White flag up, one more time to go, one more lap. Schaefer and Bear as they come through 4 for the last time. Here's your first heat winner, Steve Schaefer. So your top 3 finishers that will transfer into the Hillbilly 100. Coming in 3rd in the M1, Brad Malcutt. 2nd place in the 00, Booper Bear. And your winner of the first heat in the number 30 out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. Put your hands together for Steve Schaefer.
Into the show. Brad Malcutt, good run for him. He ran all alone in that 3rd spot. Finished up 3rd. He was the last transfer spot in today's 100-lap event. Of course, everyone else 4th on back will go into the B main last chance race. Getting ready now for heat race number 2. They'll line up this way on the start on the inside of the front row. Car number 1J, the gentleman out of New Alexander, Pennsylvania. It'll be Dave Johnson. Outside of row number 1, out of Warren, Pennsylvania, the 71D of Ron Davies. Moving back into row number 2. Row number 2 on the inside. He calls Beckley, West Virginia home. Car number 1, charging Charlie Swartz. Outside of row number 2, starting in the 4th spot, the 59L. Ladies and gentlemen, Cambridge, Ohio's Ty Long. Row number 3. It'll put the 19T, Knoxville, Tennessee's Jeff Trace. Outside of the 4th row, on the outside, out of Gratian, Kentucky, driving the white B4, it'll be Black Jack Boggs. Row 5 on the inside, out of Lost Creek, West Virginia, car number 31, it'll be the Denny Chamberlain automobile. Outside of him, the 1W, out of Calvary, Pennsylvania, the veteran Bob Waring. Moving back into the next row, down on the inside, the 7+7, Jacobsburg, Ohio, it'll be Chuck Maloney. And on the outside, starting way back in the field, car number 99, Dresden, Ohio, keep your eye on him, it'll be Donnie Moran. Scheduled to start in car number 33 on the inside of the next row, it'll be St. Clairsville, Ohio, Bob Mosky. On the outside of him, young Ravenswood, West Virginia driver, Scott Hartley. The chauffeur, the 37J, it'll be Jim Gurnick out of Wisconsin, the Air Cargo Carriers. We're set to go, Mike. Second 12-lapper.
He's got to knock either Davey Johnson, Ron Davies, or Charlie Swartz out, along with Ty Long. That's your front 2 rows. Slow pace through 3 and 4. Johnson and Davies bring them through, and we're underway. Green flag is out. Johnson grabbing the lead. Battle for second spot between Long and Davies. The 55 and the 71D as Charlie Swartz drops back to 4th. Long a little bit sideways over in turn 2. That opens up the door for Ron Davis to take back his second spot. The 71D into second. Davy Johnson, your race leader. Ty Long in the 55 running third. Dennis Swartz being pushed by Jack Boggs. Then Denny Chamberlain in the 31. Donnie Miranda in the 99. Up to that seventh spot actually, so he's got to make a big move here. Real quick like. Chuck Maloney in the 77. Charlie Swartz in that number 1 Steve McCullough automobile having a little bit of troubles negotiating the corners. On the high side, Blackjack Boggs trying to get around Charlie Swartz. Can't quite do it down the front chute into turn 1 and 2. Meanwhile, Davy Johnson in the 1J with a comfortable lead down the front chute ahead of the 71D of Ron Davis and the 55 of Ty Long. Quite a gap back to the 4th spot, which Charlie Swartz still owns ahead of Boggs, Chamberlain, Donnie Moran, and Chuck Maloney. Bob Waring in the number 1 also back there in the back. Just past the halfway point of the second heat. Top 3 look pretty solid. The battle for 4th. McCullough, Boggs, and Chamberlain. Bobby Waring in the 1W trying to work on Donnie Moran as they come out of turn 2. Moran sliding a little bit through there as Boggs gets by Charlie Swartz for that 4th place. Jack Boggs into 4th ahead of Swartz. Now Davies in the 71D closing the gap in on the 1J of Davy Johnson. Ron Davies right there on the bumper of Davy Johnson in the 1J. Time running out on this heat race. Ty Long solid in 3rd. Blackjack Boggs in the B4 running 4th. Then Swartz, Chamberlain, Donnie Moran, Waring, Maloney, Mosky. White flag up one more time around for Davy Johnson. Through 3 and 4, last time, black and white silks up in the air. Here's your winner of the second heat, Davy Johnson. So your top 3 finishers that will transfer into the Hillbilly 100, sponsored by Turbo Blue Racing Gasolines. 3rd place in your second heat goes to the 55 of Ty Long. 2nd place, the 71D of Ron Davies. And your winner of the second heat out of New Alexander, Pennsylvania in the 1J Burlett chassis car. Put your hands together for Davy Johnson.
Moran. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 or 6 good cars out of that heat race did not cut the field. Moran, Swartz, Boggs, Chamberlain, and Waring will all be in the B main event. So tough B main coming up a little bit later on. Getting ready now for the next heat race as they roll heat race number 3 Starting on the front row out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, driving the 00, it'll be Freddie Smith. On the outside of the front row, Bedford, Pennsylvania, driving car number 3, it'll be Bob Salouth. On the second row in car number 11 out of Zanesville, Ohio, it'll be car number 11, Bart Hartman. On the outside in car number 12D out of Cambridge, Ohio, and the driver will be Doug Dodd. Moving into row number 3 in car number 2C, he is out of Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, Clint Kaufman. The next row on the outside, and the outside of the next row, it'll be car number 14, Worcester, Ohio, Jim Gentry. Moving back out of Mercersburg, Pennsylvania, car number 82 on the inside of row number 4, it will be Andy Freeze. Outside of the black number 14 out of Dayton, Ohio, the chauffeur will be Larry Moore. Moving back into the next row, row number 6 on the inside, car number 84, Fairmont, West Virginia, Steve Baker. And on the outside of him, the A55 of Bob Adams Jr. Next row, we'll put Mark Bunnell in car number T8. And on the outside will be car number 4, Frank Wilson Jr. Scheduled to start in the last spot, car number 16 out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, Junior Simmons. So Freddie Smith and Bob Salouthi on the outside of the front row.
Number 1 Cochran pace truck into the infield, and we're underway with the third heat. And Freddie Smith takes them through 1 and 2 the first time. And they're bunched up in the back of the pack. Doug Dodd in the 12, a little bit sideways down the back straightaway, straightens himself up as they come through 3 and 4 for the first time. Freddie Smith, your race leader. Bob Salouthi in the RG3 running second, while Bart Hartman in the number 11 holding down third. Clint Kaufman in the number 2, currently in that 4th spot. The 82 of Andy Freeze moving up into that 5th position. As Steve Baker, that's Doug Dodd. He was having trouble earlier, and he makes solid contact. But with the guardrail over in 1 and 2, that's going to bring out the yellow flag. Doug Dodd out of Cambridge, Ohio in the 12D. Hard contact in the 1 and 2 guardrail. And word from the site is the driver, Doug Dodd, is all right, so that's good news. Give you fans a little advance notice. We were talking about the B consi coming up. We're going to actually run 2 Bs. They will stagger them by times, and the winner of the first B will start 22nd in the feature race. The winner of the second B will start in the 23rd spot.
Mike, let's resume where we were after this about a 10-minute delay. 2 laps are down. 2 laps are down.
The T8, Mark Bunnell, also a long way to go. Then so we'll be looking for the green flag to get this third heat back underway. Eddie throws the green. We're underway with Freddie Smith leading him down the front straightaway into turn 1 and 2 once again. Freddie Smith in the 00. Still setting the pace. Look at the 11 of Bart Hartman trying to work into that second spot against Bob Salathy. Then Clint Kaufman solid in 4th place in the C2. Andy Freeze in the 82 down the back straightaway, followed by Larry Moore. Still Smith, Salathy, and Hartman as the RG3 looping around over in turn 4 as the yellow comes out. As he did the old 360 spin, kept it going, but the yellow flag was already out. Keep your eye on the 14 of Larry Moore. See if he can't charge up through there and move into the top 3. Currently setting 5th. T8 trying to work on the 84 of Steve Baker, move up a spot. Meanwhile, Moore can't do anything with the 82 of Andy Freeze. As Freddie Smith continues to lead Bart Hartman. Now Moore looking to the inside of the 32 as the door doesn't quite open wide enough. As Freeze keeps it closed and keeps Moore back behind him in that 5th spot. Oh, a lot of contact now in the front straightaway. Freeze and Moore, they keep them running. Solid contact, but they keep them straight and keep them rolling. Freeze a little bit high through 3 and 4 this time, and here comes Larry Moore. Moore into that 4th place, but he's got a long way to go to catch up to the 3rd place of Clint Kaufman. Top 3 places to be at the completion of the heat races. Right now, Freddie Smith in control in that 00. Bart Hartman in the 11. And then Clint Kaufman in the 2C. Oh, up against the guardrail in 1 and 2. That is the 84 of Steve Baker. Baker tapping the outside guardrail and spinning down low. See, he's able to fire it up on his own as he's going to bring it into the pits. The number 84, Fairmont, West Virginia, Steve Baker. Of course, Moore and Andy Freeze a couple laps ago tapped each other down the front straightaway as they was able to hang together and keep running. Here we go, the race back underway, 3rd heat. And quickly, Moore looking for the low side. Around the 2, down the back chute they go. Moore side by side with Kaufman, shoots into turn 3 and takes that 3rd spot away. Larry Moore now into 3rd place with the white flag flying. Mark Bunnell in the T8 trying to work his way around the 32 of Freeze for that 4th spot. But here comes your winner, the 00 of Freddie Smith. Bart Hartman coming in 2nd. That's Larry Moore in the 14. So your top 3 finishers that will transfer into the Turbo Blue Hillbilly 100 coming in. 3rd place, the number 14 out of Dayton, Ohio, Larry Moore. 2nd place, the youngster, Zanesville's Bart Hartman in the number 11, and your winner of the third heat in the golf valve bazooka 00. Put your hands together for Freddie Smith.
Good run for spot in this heat race. Car number 14, Larry Moore, finishing up in the third spot. Set to go now, next qualifier on the line.
On the pole, the number 44, Gary Stuhler, out of Westminster, Maryland. Alongside him, the E1, Parkersburg, West Virginia's Mike Balzano. Then it's the 1G of Lynn Geisler out of Pittsburgh. Then it's the 0E, York, Pennsylvania's Rick Eckert. Don Clark in the 1C from Wellston. Then it's the 4 of Ed Ferree out of Saxonburg, Pennsylvania. Butch Hartman in the 75/8 from Zanesville. Racing John Mason from Millersburg in the 72. Johnny Verdon in the 66V out of Russellville, Arkansas. Alan Baker in the number 19 from Navarre. The 07 of Mike Reed from Single House, Pennsylvania. Then it's the 34 of Jeff Wood from Athens. And on the tail, Big Prairie, Ohio's Chuck Efall in the 00.
So he's got to pick up the pace and pick up the throttle very quickly on that 72 car. Going to be an interesting battle. You know, you've got 4 good running cars in those first 2 rows, and we're going to see how the chess game moves along on that first lap. Everyone's going to be biting for that second, third, and fourth position. Pretty good cars in the first 3 or 4 rows here in this qualifier.
Important to get off the turn 4 with a good start. Once again, gentlemen in the pits, your last heat is lining up, and then it will be dash time. So dash cars, get them ready. Dash cars, get them ready. Set the pace through 3 and 4 as the number 1 Cochran pace truck pulls to the infield. We're ready to go with the 4th heat, and we got them going down the front chute. Stuhler in the 44 leads them through 1 and 2 as Hartman and Mason was side by side coming through 1 and 2. Hartman takes advantage. Some contact made as they come through 3 and 4. Some nose to tail stuff, but everybody keeps them straight. Balzano in the E1 in second. Lynn Geisler in the 1. Oh, sideways a little bit. Here's Don Clark in that 1C. He's able to keep them straight. Drops back a couple spots. Stuhler, your race leader. Mike Balzano. Rick Eckert running in that 4 spot ahead of the 4 of Ed Ferree. Butch Hartman then follows Ferree as Clark and Racing John Mason battle. Oh, some solid contact coming through 3 and 4. The 66 of Johnny Verdon with a lot of side damage as bouncing through 1 and 2. Gary Stuhler starting to stretch his lead out over Balzano. Meanwhile, Rick Eckert trying to chase down Lynn Geisler for that 3rd spot. And the yellow flag is out. One in second spot. Then it's the 1 of Lynn Geisler. Your top 3 spots right now. Then it's the 0 of Rick Eckert. The 4 of Ed Ferree. Then the 75 of Butch Hartman. Four laps in, 8 to go. 4 laps in. As we work on 5 on the restart. Gary Stuhler in the 44. Jumping back up to about a 8-car length lead ahead of Balzano. who's trying to hold off Geisler still for that third spot. Meanwhile, Eckert in the 0, trying to close the gap. Meanwhile, the 75 of Butch Hartman also trying to work on the number 4 of Ed Ferré for that 5th spot, as John Mason is 72, still running back there in about 7th. Butch Hartman able to drive by Ferré as Ed in the number 4 slipping a little bit high in 1 and 2. Opened the door up, and Butch Hartman drove right through and moves up a spot into that number 5 place. Meanwhile, Gary Stuhler still setting the pace. Mike Malzano still running in second. Now here comes Eckert, moving in close on Geisler. Once again, top 3 places where you need to be. Top 3 places. Don't count Butch Hartman out yet in the 75, although he's back in 5th. Last few laps, he's been running strong and closing that gap in on the 4th place of Eckert. Chuck Efau in the 00, hand out the window as he's pulling it into the infield, the 00 of Efau. White flag coming out one more time around. Gary Stuhler from the get-go, your race leader. As Malzano still in 2nd spot. Less than a lap now for Eckert to make a move on Geisler for 3rd. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen. As they come through 3 and 4 down the front straightaway, there's your winner, Gary Stuhler. That is the E1 of Malzano and the 1 of Len Geisler. So your top 3 finishers that will go into the Turbo Blue Hillbilly 100, coming in 3rd out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Len Geisler. Then 2nd place in the E1 from Parkersburg, Mike Malzano. And your winner of the 4th heat in the Bullet Chassis number 44 out of Westminster, Maryland. Put your hands together for Gary Stuhler.
12-lap event rolling out on the speedway behind the number 1 Cochran Pace truck. This is the way they line up. On the front row out of Harrisonburg, North Carolina, driving car number 75, the lightning rod, Rodney Combs. Outside of the front row, out of the capital city of Charleston, West Virginia, driving the Dawn's Disposal, car number 65, it will be Doug Hall. Moving into row number 2, all the way out of West Burlington, Iowa, in the black number 99 J&J Steel 99 automobile, the chauffeur, Johnny Johnson. Outside of the second row, in car number 24F, the Rayvest excavating car, the driver, Cross Junction, Virginia, Rodney Franklin. Row number 3, out of Imperial, Pennsylvania, the black number 2 of Mike Johnson. Row number 3, on the outside, out of Morgantown, West Virginia, the shoe, the B5 of Dave Groves. Row number 4, out of Duke Center, Pennsylvania, driving car number 42, it will be Todd Andrews. Row number 4, on the outside, all the way out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania, it will be car 3, Jeff Robinson. Row 5, out of Bellevue, Ohio, the 1F of Jim Fleming. Out of Repner, Pennsylvania, in the 17W, it will be Bob Waring Jr. Moving into the last and final row, out of Worcester, Ohio, car number 75, it will be Don Gross. Ripley, West Virginia will put the 56F of Sonny Fisher on the outside. And in the last row, the Caldwell, Ohio driver, car number 59, Dub Barnhouse. 5 car on the outside, Doug Hall, the young upcoming star, and car number 65. Johnny Johnson making the 18-hour tow out of West Burlington, Iowa in the 99 car second row. And the Cross Junction, Virginia driver, driving the team car to Nathan Durbrow, Rodney Franklin on the outside. Side of him, Dave Groves. Groves in a semi-late car that runs in the tri-state area. Groves had a good qualifying run. This would be a big, big feather in this team's cap to put this car into the field. He's starting in the third row. Groves, a talented chauffeur out of Morgantown, West Virginia. The Ford-powered car of Todd Andrews, the Bob Cowan-owned car, starting in the third row. He's got a long way to go. Todd Andrews, Jeff Robinson, they call him the Shady Grove Slingshot. We're ready, Mike. Pace truck pulls down the back chute.
Very slow pace for the fifth heat as Combs and Hall. Now they start to pick it up, heading into turn 3. And Combs puts it to the floor, and Combs and Hall brings them out as we're underway with the fifth heat. And quickly the 99 of Johnny Johnson popping into that second spot, the 99 of Johnson. As they shoot through 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway, the 65 of Doug Hall dropping back to that 4th position from his outside starting spot on that front row. Meanwhile, Rodney Franklin in the 24 in the 3rd spot as the field starts to spread themselves. Rodney Combs leading the way through 3 and 4 down the front chute. Now it is Franklin and Johnson battling for that second spot into turn 1. Franklin able to take it away from Johnson. Rodney Franklin in the 24F into that second spot. Meanwhile, Hall in the 65 trying to work his way back around as he's got the 99 of Johnny Johnson in that 3rd place. And he's got to do something about it if he wants to make it into the feature. Meanwhile, the 42 of Todd Andrews into that 5th place right now. Groves in the B5 back to 6 ahead of Jimmy Fleming. Franklin in the 24F not giving up on this heat race as he's trying to chase down Rodney Combs for the lead. Meanwhile, Johnny Johnson looking to be set solid in 3rd place. But Doug Hall in the 65 trying to do something about that as Andrews in the 42 still running in the 5th place. Shoot, the leaders go into 3 and 4. Combs and Franklin. Yellow flag as over on the back straightaway. Bob Waring Jr. in the 17W. Some of the track crew will check him out, make sure everything's all right before he continues on. As we get back underway with this, the 5th heat for the Stars. Still Rodney Combs in the 75. Sets the pace ahead of Rodney Franklin in the 24. Doug Hall in the 65 trying to work on Johnny Johnson in that number 99 for that 3rd place. And look looky here. Here comes the 42 of Todd Andrews. Todd Andrews getting by Hall for that 4th spot. Now Andrews will try to work on Johnson for 3rd position. That's the one they need to be in. Still, Rodney Combs, your race leader. Rodney Franklin setting the pace in 2nd place then. Then it is Johnny Johnson. And then Todd Andrews and Doug Hall. Followed by Dave Groves, Jim Fleming, the number 3 of Jeff Robinson. Following Robinson is Gross and the number 2 of Mike Johnson. And the 56 is Sonny Fisher. But your race leader, still Combs. Has just a few more laps left. Somebody's got to make a move if they want to get into the top 3. That being Andrews or Hall, as they're running 4th and 5th right now. White flag up, 1 more left to go. As they take it down the back straight for the last time, Combs and Rodney Franklin. Checkered flag up, and here's your winner, Rodney Combs. Then Franklin, then the 99 of Johnny Johnson. As Andrews and Hall finished 4th and 5th, so your top 3 finishers that will go into the Turbo Blue Hillbilly 100, finishing 3rd in that heat race, the number 99 out of West Burlington, Iowa, Johnny Johnson. 2nd place then goes to Cross Junction, Virginia's Rodney Franklin in the 24F. And your winner of the 5th heat in the number 75 out of Harrisburg, North Carolina, the rocket chassis, drain-powered engine. Put your hands together for Rodney Combs.
Ladies and gentlemen, now on the speedway now, the fast car dash, the 6 fastest qualifiers starting in reversed order. This is the way they'll line up, starting in behind the number 1 Cochran Pace Truck. Our 6 fastest qualifiers starting on the front row. Greenbrier, Arkansas's car number 66. It'll be Bill Fry. On the outside of the front row, out of Ashton, Kentucky, the red number 15. It'll be Steve Francis. 2nd row, down on the inside, the star number 1 automobile out of Sugar Grove, Pennsylvania, the star 1 car of Chubb Frank. Outside of the 2nd row, on the outside, driving the 24V, Hagerstown, Maryland's Nathan Durbrow. Last row, our 2nd fast qualifier of the afternoon, out of Mooresburg, Tennessee, car number 18, Scott Bloomquist. In our fastest qualifier after 75 cars of qualifying here this afternoon, in the red number 68 out of Weston, West Virginia, Tim Hitt. Event a little bit later on.
That's right. The way they finish will be the way they start. The 100-lap Turbo Blue Hillbilly 100. So very important to work their way up to the front. As we get the green flag, it is Bill Fry leading him down the back straightaway into turns 1 and 2. Steve Francis in the 15, holding down 2nd. Here comes Bloomquist in the number 18. He gets the low side of Chubb Franks and slides into that 3rd spot. Can he hang on to it, or will Franks come back? Chubb comes back. Battle for that 3rd spot right now, side by side, as Chubb Franks now has the upper hand over Bloomquist for that 3rd place. Durborough and Tim Hitt round out your dash field. Bill Fry in the number 66 continues to set the pace ahead of Steve Francis. Now Bloomquist has his hands full with the 24 of Nathan Durborough. Nathan trying to move into that 4th spot, and he does. The 24 of Durborough back into the 4th spot. Bloomquist drops back to 5th. So Scott had moved up to 3rd, now drops back to his original starting spot here in the dash. Meanwhile, Bill Fry starting to stretch his lead out. Bloomquist sliding in 1 and 2, and Scott Bloomquist drops to the tail. Tim Hitt up to 5th. Fry, Francis, Chubb Franks, Nathan Durborough, Tim Hitt, and Scott Bloomquist. We'll see if Chubb Franks can work on Steve Francis to try to get that outside pole starting spot. 1 more lap to go. 1 lap to go, less than now. Bill Fry heading the pack through 3 and 4. The black and white silk flag up in the air. Checkered flag, there's your dash winner. So your finishing order for the dash, and this is the way they will start. In the Turbo Blue Hillbilly 100, your winner. Let's go the other way. Let's start at 6th spot. In the number 18, Scott Bloomquist, finishing 5th. The number 68 of Tim Hitt. 4th place, the number 24 of Nathan Durborough. In 3rd, the number 1 of Chubb Franks, finishing 2nd, the 15 of Steve Francis. And he will be your pole setter for the 100 lap Hillbilly 100 out of Greenbrier, Arkansas, Greenbrier, Arkansas. The number 66 of Bill Fry. Put your hands together.